Fellas, AC here. Welcome to another review. Today I'm going to talk about one of the most critically acclaimed Chanel Les Exclusifs line fragrance called Coromandel. It's been discontinued. EDT is what I'm reviewing. But what I've done for you is I've also got a sample of the EDP, which is quite widely available. And I'm going to give you some tips on how the EDT and the EDP differ. And probably it'll help you go for your purchasing decision. So let's start. Chanel Coromandel. Now, when I first heard about Coromandel, I thought they were talking about the Coromandel coast, which is west coast of India facing the Arabian Sea, and it's known for its spices. But apparently, Coromandel is the name given to the wooden partition some of the ladies use to, change and stuff like that. You must have seen it in the old movies. And Coromandel was a favorite thing of Coco Chanel's. So they basically gave this name to this fragrance because it's a favorite object of Coco Chanel. So, Chanel fragrances, especially the Exclusifs line, have very interesting stories to tell. Each and every one of them. And I've just started to explore them. So this one, I picked this one up because of two reasons. A, it's very easy to wear, and it's also, number two, it's also known as a female version of a very favorite fragrance of mine and everybody else's, Lidge. Now, I'll tell you one thing, this was released for ladies, so it's marketed as a fragrance for women, but it's very easily wearable by a man, yeah? So just like I feel Lidge is quite easily wearable by a lady. It's pretty unisex. Both these two are unisex. So I'll cover the differences between Lidge, this version, not the Eau Extreme, and Coromandel as well. So let's talk about Coromandel. Coromandel was released in 2006. Lidge was released in 2004. So 2006 it was released. The two parfumeurs who worked on this are, both a favorite of mine. So Christopher Sheldrake, the Serge Lutens Maestro, and Jacques Polge. So it's basically a duo who have worked on this, and I'll tell you what, the EDT is nothing short of a masterpiece. So let's start with the fresh spray. I actually have a dry down here, but I'll spray one over it because the opening is spectacular, and this is where the differences lie, not the dry down. So it's a beast. The moment you spray it, the EDT is a beast. And what you first smell can be best described like so. So imagine yourself entering a very beautifully decorated sitting room. Yeah, there's a lovely comfortable sofa, there's some paintings, there's a Coromandel of course, there's some books, there's some fruits, and there's some flowers. You get all of that the moment you spray this. What a beautiful creation, right? So it's a delightful fragrance. So what you get is a lemony, zesty, woody smell. Yeah, that lemony smell will dry away in about 5 to 10 minutes. And what you suddenly get is a white chocolate, the famed white chocolate. It's not very creamy, but it's chocolatey, and you're smelling white chocolate because of the dryness and the lack of depth, but it's chocolatey. And as a kid, I used to love white chocolate. So what you smell is a woody smell, yeah? And that smell is the smell of veneer. And this gets a lot of people. It's the smell of paint thinner. And I'm using this word advisedly. I don't want you to get put off by it, but this smell is there. So, lemony, paint thinner mixed with white chocolate, right? And vanilla, yeah, and some florals. I know it might sound a bit odd. It's not odd, yeah. So what is the smell? What does it compose of? It composes of benzoin, which has this citric vanilla-like smell, yeah, but lacks the depth and the volume of normal vanilla. Then, and doesn't have the gourmand quality. Then you have the smell of patchouli. You obviously have some bitter orange. I smell lemon or lime, and it's generic rather than bitter orange. And there is some incense, green incense, but it doesn't smell like a church incense. So it's the benzoin and olibanum which are creating that paint thinner-like vibe. And I enjoy it. It's got that ethanol vibe. It's very thin. Yeah, it lacks the volume and depth of a niche. It's thin juice at the moment. As I said, the lemon dries off and patchouli comes into play. So it's olibanum and patchouli. A lot of people remark Coromandel to be basically a patchouli fragrance. It's not. It's basically an olibanum fragrance, green lemony incense, supported by patchouli, and joined with white chocolate and that veneer smell, the paint thinner smell. Excuse me. So this is how the fragrance stays for about 15-20 minutes. Excuse me. And then the fragrance starts to really gallop. Yeah, it really starts steaming off your skin. This is a major projector. Very, very strong. And when it starts to project, that paint thinner smell grows a bit. And so does the smell of patchouli. Patchouli used here is spicy, green, slightly woody, and slightly earthy. Yeah? And it's so comforting, it's so delightful, it's so complex, it will blow your mind. Yeah? Now the dry down. So the dry down comes in after about 2 hours. So when it starts to hit the dry down, you'll get this lipsticky smell. But it's more like the smell you would get from old lipsticks. So as a kid, I used to play with my mother's lipstick. And that smell, I remember, it has this fruity, chalky, floral smell. It has that smell. Fruity, chalky, floral. So the two florals they've used here is rose and jasmine. There's also orris root. And I think orris root has this beautiful, chalky, lipsticky smell. That smell is there, but it's not so pronounced that you would say, oh yeah, this is an iris-based fragrance. No. It's very subtle. So is the rose and so is the jasmine. Very subtle. I can't smell it at the moment. I just got the orris root. So that's the smell, middle stage, that's the heart. The dry down is where it takes a turn, and it's a beautiful turn. This is where you get the incense and the vanilla combination with patchouli. So it becomes like a very heavy vanilla scent with a gourmand aspect. And I like that. Heavy, plump, or I should say lush, slightly boozy, slightly fruity vanilla, supported by olibanum, lemony, slightly green, slightly smoky olibanum, and patchouli. Patchouli has that spicy aspect. So it's beautifully balanced, fruity, boozy, spicy, interesting fragrance, right? Now, the difference between this and the EDP. So the EDP I sprayed in the morning, it's about 12 hours, and the EDT. So this is the EDT, this is the EDP, okay? This has got the lemony aspect, and this actually smells like a very sensual version of Lidge. The EDT, yeah? 12-13 hour dry down, the EDP. These two are not even same. I mean, this one has got this fruity, boozy smell, which is more vanilla. No lemon. And when you concentrate and breathe in deep, then you get the patchouli. So slight, spicy, slightly green, less olibanum, more vanilla. So it's more about vanilla. And I sprayed the EDP on my skin before. It's not as interesting. It has more pronounced, when you first spray it, more pronounced white chocolate, more vanilla. It almost rushes into the dry down of the vintage EDT. It goes straight into the dry down. That is the vanilla, slight olibanum, no lemoniness, and no veneer-like smell. So straight into the dry down. That's what I get. And it's also half the strength of the EDT. Half. This is an EDP. This is an EDT. This thing is twice as strong. And twice or probably 3 times more interesting. There's so many things going on here. The EDT is really interesting. The EDP is a very safe vanilla-based fragrance with supporting notes of, as I said, olibanum. It's got a fruity type smell, which is so foreign to Coromandel. So that's the EDP, the current version, which is not my favorite. I really like the EDT. EDP is good, easy to wear, but it's much less interesting than what the EDT is. Now, the comparisons between Lidge and the EDP. EDP is pointless. There's never been so much vanilla in Lidge. So EDP, comparing it to EDP is pointless. There are similarities. So Lidge, yeah? Yeah, lemony, anisic, patchouli, supported by a slight bit of sandalwood. And very, very interesting. Lidge is amazing, man. Wow, spices. Outstanding juice. Lidge is amazing. Yeah, you can see that this is more drier, this is more woodier, yeah, and this is a slightly different creation. So there are differences between Lidge and the EDT. This is definitely more sexy, I would say. This is manly, spicy, as it should be, more depth, more volume. So if you compare volumes, Lidge, EDT, EDP, yeah. If you compare interesting, which one is more interesting? Definitely Coromandel EDT, very interesting. So that's the summary of these 3 scents. I hope it makes sense to you. Now the good points and the bad points of both the Coromandels. So number 1, it's a very interesting creation, the EDT. The EDP is less interesting, but if you have never smelled the EDT, you will not miss anything. It's still a very good composition. So EDT, very interesting, guys. I have hardly ever smelled anything which has the smell of paint thinner, and it still smells amazing. I use the word still. I shouldn't have. It just is a very, very interesting creation. With these subtle nuances and subtle complexities, lovely complex juice. Number 1. Number 2, I would say, is the enormous sex appeal of this fragrance. The fragrance is very sexy, especially the middle stage when it brings in that lipsticky, slight lipsticky vibe. I really don't want you to think Dior. It isn't. But it has that real sensual quality about it. And the third one is the comfort. The smell has this warmth about itself. Olibanum, vanilla, and benzoin. Beautiful warmth. It's a comforting fragrance. So in this weather, at the moment, it's sub-zero. I was wearing this and I'm loving it. It's got this comforting feel about it. It has this special feel about it. So I would wear this. So next, okay, let's do the cons first and then we'll go to occasions. So the cons, the downside, that veneer smell, that paint thinner smell can get to you. So don't let it get to you because it goes away after about 2 hours. You smell it during daytime, not evening time. I'm not smelling it now, but I was testing it last Sunday during daytime and I was getting it. So that's the downside. The second downside I would say is the price point. Now, if you were to go and hunt for the vintage, you wouldn't get it for less than £400 for 250 ml. Yeah, it's impossible to get it at the prices it used to retail. 5 years ago, you could have got a 75 ml bottle for £100. Impossible. But the EDP, you can still get it for £115, I believe, for 100 or 75 ml, which is a great value for money. The smell is still amazing. The smell is still very, very seductive, very classy, very good execution. So there's nothing wrong with the EDP version. It's just not as interesting as the EDT. So that's a downside, if I would say. The price point for a vintage, very expensive. So those are the 2 downsides. Now, when and where to wear it. It is a cold weather fragrance because of the patchouli, the use of patchouli and olibanum, and the vanilla, the boozy vanilla, even the current formulation. I wouldn't dare wear this in summer. It also projects a lot after about 2 hours, especially the EDT. So it would be very difficult to wear it in warm weather. Cold weather. So warm weather fragrance. Yeah. Where to wear it? I would say anywhere you want to give yourself the feel of comfort and slight seduction, classy seduction. So daytime office wear, evening time, smartly dressed is what I would say. You have to make an effort to put on a nice shirt and a jacket. If you're a lady watching this video, you know, you just have to try a little bit and you would smell amazing. Excuse me. So date night would be a fantastic one. Any special occasions like to dress up, it would be beautiful. Age groups, I would say 25 plus. Anything with patchouli and olibanum makes it slightly gravity, smell with a bit of gravity. So 25 plus would be the ideal age group for this fragrance. Marks out of 10. I'd give the EDT a 9 out of 10 because of the complexity and the developments and all that stuff. The EDP has less developments, goes straight into the dry down of the EDT, so I'd give it an 8 out of 10. Still a very beautiful, very well made scent, high quality stuff, beautiful niche, both of them. EDT slightly more interesting. So 9 for the EDT, 8 for the EDP. Hope you like the review, fellas. Take care. Bye-bye.